Welcome back to Mind Over Madness, where we talk about villains and pretty much their traumas and things they've went through that led them down the villain era that they're currently in. So just recapping, last week we talked about a villain who was all about beauty. Beauty is power. That's how they felt. That's how they obtained their power. That's also how they got into the marriage they got, which gave them even more power. And of course, as time goes on, you think, is there somebody else that's going to take my shine? And that's what happened with this villain. They actually used black magic to make sure every day that they're going to be the fairest one of them all. And then it came to a day where they were not. And so that led down jealousy and them trying to take their competition down no matter what it cost. If you all did not guess who it was the evil queen. And I will say it was a huge coincidence that Snow White, the movie, recently did just come out. When I made the recording, I didn't know till like right after I recorded. I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. So yes, it was the evil queen, as you all have seen. She asked the mirror every day who was the fairest of them all, and then it came to a day where Snow White was the fairest of them all, and that made the evil queen very upset, and she did everything she could. She had one of her huntsmen try to kill him, and he couldn't because he had such a kind heart and knew Snow White did not deserve to die for no reason. And then she put everything in her own hands and had her little apple to feed Snow White because that kind of was Snow White's thing. She loved apples, and so she wanted to make her sleep for the rest of her life because she didn't think she would find true love. And then, of course, as you all see, the end of the story, that did not end well for the evil queen. But congratulations to all my correct guessers for guessing the evil queen. Now, moving on to this week's villain. We're going to talk about somebody. It's really similar, really. I'm going to read the clues so you can kind of see what's a tad bit different about this villain. But make sure you're making your guesses. So for this villain, clue number 1. I have lived longer than most. Time should have taken its toll, but I found a way to escape its grasp. Still too early right now. Clue number 2. The world values youth and beauty above all else. Once you start to fade, you are forgotten, and I refuse to be forgotten. I feel like this character has a lot similar to the evil queen from last week. Clue number 3. I discovered a secret, a way to hold on to my youth forever. But such power does not come freely. It must be protected. To me, it kind of sounds like black magic, like the evil queen, but not quite sure yet. Clue number 4. I had everything I wanted: internal youth, beauty, power over my own fate. But then someone tried to take it from me. Possible competition? Clue number 5. My secret source of power fell into the hands of those who didn't understand its values. I knew if I let them keep it, I would lose everything I had worked for. So I know some of you all experience when you work super hard for something and then you get somebody that just simply take it away as if it meant absolutely nothing. That makes you feel a lot of different emotions on the inside: anger, frustration, stress. And it's just like, why? Clue number 6. So I took control. I kept what was rightfully mine, hiding it away from where no one could steal it from me. I told myself it was for protection, that it was necessary, but deep down, I know the truth. I was afraid. There's some deepness in that. To tell yourself one thing and convince yourself to try to believe it, but you really know the truth is not for protection. It's just for fear of getting what you feel like you worked so hard for being taken away. It's those choices that we make that leads us down different paths, as I keep mentioning. All right, clue number 7. I built a tower, a sanctuary where I could remain safe, untouched by time. I convinced myself that what I had stolen was better off with me anyway. I think that's a key clue for you all. That should kind of give it away a little bit, but I'm not going to say anything else on it. Clue number 8. I wrapped my control in the guise of love. I spoke sweet words, gave false comforts, and ensured my secret would never leave me. Sound like some manipulation to me. All right, we have the final clue, so I'm hoping y'all really made some good guesses so far. And when the world tried to take it from me, I did whatever it took to keep my youth, no matter the cost. Definitely sounds really similar to the Evil Queen. Like, no matter what you gotta pay or what you gotta do to get what you want or feel like you deserve, you're gonna do it. So, some mental health and some traumas for this villain. Of course, they have the fear of aging and mortality. Mentioned that in one of the earlier clues. They were in fear of aging, which is where all this came about, and they found the secret to not aging and having immortality. So, that's one of the main ones. They also have narcissistic personality traits. I feel like every villain that I have done so far has had those traits. They all, of course, to be like evil and bad, you kind of have to manipulate people. Like, you can't really be truthful and be evil. It makes sense. I've never heard of an evil person that was just like a truthful person. You always got to manipulate somebody in some way to do what you want them to do. So they had that. They also had control and gaslighting. So in the clues, if you really listen, it sounds like they took something that didn't belong to them. This thing, person, whatever that they took, they pretty much kept them away from everything and lied to them the whole time, making them think that it's something that is not. Also going in with manipulation. And then they had self-justification and denial. So I think it was like in the last clue or something, I already mentioned that they were saying that it's for protection, but deep down they knew it was being afraid. So that's that self-justification that I'm going to convince myself that it's one thing and it's not. So my question to you is, was this person always a villain? Or simply just a person consumed of losing what made them feel powerful? Just like the Evil Queen, she felt like beauty was power, and so she didn't want to lose that being the most beautiful person in the world, and she had to do whatever she had to do to make sure she kept that title. This person pretty much had the same thing, but it was also with the aging, and so they felt like they had to do whatever they need to do to not age. So what could have prevented this? What if they learned to accept the aging? Because reality, everyone, we all will get old. Like, none of us will stay the same age. Now, don't get me wrong, some people look older than others as they get older. Some people can kind of keep that young look, but at the end of the day, we all get older. Like, we're all gonna get to that mark. So it's nothing we can do to prevent that from happening. It's just life. Just what we're doing right now. So, but if she learned to accept that, like if she actually went to counseling and was able to talk out her fears of aging and why she's so fearful of aging and the power that she feel like is giving her from not aging, maybe that could have kind of rewrite her brain and prevented her from doing the unspeakable of whatever she's done without me giving away too much. So just something to think about. I think this is a good, easy villain. So we're going to see what you all guess. Of course, it's probably not as coincidental as a movie coming out with it the same week, but it's still pretty similar. So you should all kind of have an idea. I can't wait to reveal who it is next week. So we're wrapping it up at the end. Of course, I will see you next week. Make sure you subscribe and comment your guesses, or whatever you want to say about the podcast on YouTube. And again, make sure you master your mind or your madness will.